What is up, Nerf Nation? It's your boy Normatico here, and today we are actually talking about the summer blasters that have been released, Dart Zones in particular, of those things that when they released the Max Stryker, everyone was excited. It's an actual store shelf pro level blaster, but not quite the peak levels that they did with the pro line, and everyone wanted a sequel. And sure enough, 2024 rolled around and Dart Zone delivered. Introducing the Max Stryker 2.0. Now, this blaster, it is capable of achieving rates of around 200 feet per second, and you know what? I believe it, given that the Nexus Pro hit those numbers without a problem, and that is essentially what is inside of here. It is a Nexus Pro with a little bit of a beefier spring. Now, it does come with a couple of different things. Of course, you do have your muzzle flash here, the suppressor, quote-unquote, not much to suppress, and you have a P-car. So you have also the holder here as well, much like the Nexus Pro comes with. But unlike the Nexus Pro, you do not have a mount here for your P-car in the barrel itself. It is just on the side. Those of you who saw my Nexus Pro X review, it actually has the side mount here for when you want to use the when you don't want to use the B-car, B as in boy, and you want to use the P-car. You actually take the P-car out, put the P-car in, put the B-car up here because it does not fit in the hole that's up here. And yeah. That does not work with this blaster because it has no holder with the B-car. But if you did have one, you could just pop this out, put it in, and you're good to go. Now, it does feature this really obnoxious lime green color scheme. I'm not the biggest fan of it. As well as you have these plates that do come off for painting purposes that show this really cool interior. I'm okay with this. Maybe do a different color here other than the green, and I'd be great. You also do have the two sights, which you see I've already had them on here. You have the rear sight setup and the front iron sight as well. And just to give you a quick little idea what that looks like there, as you can see, it works pretty well. The accuracy on this thing, in my opinion, is probably going to be pretty spectacular because that is what the Nexus Pro X gave us. And so far, Dart Zone has not led me astray when it comes to accuracy in any of their quote-unquote pro-level blasters. This is part of the Max line, so it's not pro, but given that the numbers that it hits match those of the pro lines, supposedly, I can't wait to see what Dart Zone does with their pro line next, because if we're hitting 200 with Max now, their pros, which hit 200, should be better, hopefully, please, maybe, Dart Zone. I would love to see something that hits, 250 to 300 right out of the box. That might be fun, but we'll see. I understand safety purposes. Of course, not only did they release a new blaster, they also released a new dart type. So let's take a look at the old Pro darts. This is the Bamboo 2. Let's go ahead and get that right there in front of the camera so you can see it. Purple head, greenish foam. It's nice. These are probably the fastest darts I've ever fired, comparable to the 2X in my opinion. And then they introduces the Nitro darts. Now, these are their Nitro darts. As you can see, they are very similar. Purple head, yellow body, or green body, except this green is more of a green versus a yellowish green. And then you will also see that you have, let's see if I can get this in focus, there's actually 3 little ridges here for the bamboo darts. So, or I should say the bamboo style ridge. I believe they refer to those as almost like a dragon dart kind of a thing. And they do say that they are the most accurate darts that Darts have ever made. If they are as fast flying as Bamboo 2s, that would be amazing. But we'll have to test that out. I'm going to fire this blaster using Bamboo 2 as well as using these, and see what number is best. Now, other features of this blaster, of course, when they released the Tomcat, people were excited about the drum, and that's fantastic. This one, not only do you have access to a drum, but you also have access to an actual magazine. Ow, I just hit myself in the face with that. So to do that, you just pull out, you pull out the magazine and the adapter, and you slap this drum in like so. Much like the Tomcat, you line it up, push it in there, and you give it a good shove, and you are ready to go. It is now primed, ready to fire. That's pretty powerful. And then, of course, you just prime, pull back, and you are ready to go. It is pretty much the same thing, wash, rinse, repeat over and over again with these styles of blasters. You do have an extendable stock here. Of course, to extend the stock, you just pull that back, or you can push it forward, and you are good to go. Right here, of course, you have a 2.0 logo, which I'm not entirely sure if that is what they did, but it seems like they're kind of picking fun of the Nerf Elite 2.0 line here with the lettering that they used for the 2.0, which, you know what, Dart Zone, I get it, haha, it's funny, but it's not fun to pick on the, the slow kids, so to speak. So, people have said that this blaster is probably one of their favorite ones. I'm going to have to see what we think regarding this. Let's go ahead and actually run those tests now, and we'll be back. Test with the Stryker 2.0. It did promote speeds up to 200 FPS. Of course, we did not get to see that in the chronograph, but close enough. Let's see how the distance goes. Did I just jam a dart? I might have just jammed a dart here, so I don't know. Might have to do 3 shots. We'll be back with those numbers. So, with the straight shot, we ended up getting with 135 feet. The angled shot got 190 feet. And I'll tell you that there's a difference between chronograph numbers and distance, especially when you're using half darts. With these particular darts, they are better accuracy, but they're also a little bit heavier, so they don't go as far. So you're going to sacrifice distance with accuracy. If we were to be shooting with the Max Ruby darts, we would probably hit the 200 mark, or even with the Ember darts. So all in all, not a bad performance. It is delivering where it promises, right around that 200 mark. So it's okay. Really, it's okay. Up next, the accuracy test. Okay, so accuracy test using the Dart Zone Max Stryker 2.0. I do not have the P car on here right now. We just have the muzzle attachment. So we're going to test the accuracy with that, and 10 shots down that basket. So 10 out of 10 shots, hit that basket. These sights are fantastic when you line them up. My final thoughts regarding the blaster, up next. Back with my final thoughts regarding the Dart Zone Max Stryker 2.0. So I'm not going to tell you that it's the best thing since sliced bread. It's not. I'm a little bit disappointed because when I unpackaged my Nexus Pro X, which is right back there, it promoted 200 feet per second, and I hit well above it. I don't think I hit over 200 feet per second with the included darts. Now, I got really close. I did. But if you're promoting 200 feet per second, I want to hit 200 feet per second. Just letting you know. Also, I'll tell you that the prime on this one doesn't feel as smooth as, say, other blasters that are 200 FPS range. So, for example, and I know I'm comparing kind of apples to oranges, but if you release the Mark IV, which is the part of the Pro line, and that thing is just as smooth as butter to prime and hits above 200 feet per second, I expect this to do the same. Again, I know sometimes it's apples to oranges, it's a Max versus a Pro, but come on, Dart Zone. You did it once. Come on, do it again. So, the other thing I will say is that, in my opinion, the drum actually performed better than the magazine itself. Now, I do dig that it is native katana compatible, and you can also use the classic Dart Zone magazines here as well. And that being said, compatibility is a fantastic thing. What I would like to see out of this, honestly, is Dart Zone, you know, don't do what you've been doing lately. And what I mean is, when they released the Nexus Pro X and the Aeon Pro X, they introduced their new katana style magazines, and they're good. You know, they're a little bit smaller compared to Worker, but the difference is that they released them on sale for $9.99. Here's my issue. $9.99 for a Dart Zone magazine that only holds 10 rounds. Compare that to going to Out of Darts and paying $7.99 on sale or $9.99 standard for a 15-round magazine. Which one are you going to want to do? Oh, I'm sorry, not a 10-round, a 12-round magazine. It makes sense to go with the Worker branded ones. Not to mention, Worker branded ones are going to fit across the spectrum with a lot more different blasters. And yeah, the quality on them is a little bit better in my opinion. So do better, Dart Zone. Just friendly advice. What I love about the blaster, honestly, is the ability to go between drum and magazine, because no one wants to carry more than one drum on them at any point in time during battle. And 25 rounds sounds like a lot, but you're going to go through that pretty quickly, especially if you're doing a, let's say it's a team event, team deathmatch, or anything like that. You're going to go through 25 rounds very fast. Slam fire capability on it, it works, it's good. But again, I'm not a slam fire person. I'm more of a precision aimer and precision blaster type, one shot, one kill kind of a thing. Or one shot, one tag. Sorry, I don't like to use violent words. I will say that I do dig the fact that they continue with the trigger safety options on here. That's kind of nice in case you actually prime it and leave it primed, which, by the way, don't store your blasters primed, folks. And if some kid actually picks it up and tries to fire it, as long as the safety's on, that dart's not going anywhere. So I do dig that fact. The magazine release, the dual magazine release, it is counterintuitive in the fact that you pull back here to push that, but you can also, I wish that you could push forward. You could also use this one here by pushing forward, and this one to pull back. It'd be nice if you could just push forward on this side with your finger, but again, dual trigger action is fine by me. I also like the fact that they included the sling cover right here, and I do dig the fact that they continue the trend of being able to undo a screw back here and access the spring. So if you want to do a spring swap, you may go ahead and do so. Of course, if you already own an Nexus Pro X, my good friend Ghost has already created a spacer file for it. I'm going to assume that because of the fact that the spring is so similar in diameter, you might be able to use those spacers in this blaster and, yeah, get a little bit of an FPS boost out of it. I know that with my Nexus Pro X using the spacers, I got around 250 FPS. It is a much harder prime, but not as hard as using the upgraded springs from Out of Darts for the Nexus Pro X. So go ahead and actually go to printables, Just look up spacers for the Nexus Pro X, print them out. Trust me, thank the creator, Ghost. Good job on that one, man. And yeah, all in all, I'd say that this blaster is a decent buy at $49.99. It is something that would be a beneficial addition to your arsenal, in spite of the downside of me not having hit 200 FPS. I've seen people do it, so it's probably just this particular blaster, maybe just a quick little spring upgrade, or maybe it's the seal that needs to be tightened. I don't know, but I can figure it out. Now, who is this blaster for? Honestly, 200 FPS, even though G-Rex was able to prime it with a little bit of difficulty, I would not give this to an 11-year-old. Mainly because of the fact that they are going to accidentally shoot someone or something inside your house, and you're going to come home to something that was knocked over and broken. Or you're going to deal with their cousins coming over, and next thing you know, crying people because someone got shot in the face. So definitely keep it into the 14 and up range. And again, blast responsibly whenever you're playing. Where is this going to be used? Honestly, it's one of those weird things. It's going to be used in a 250 FPS game or 200 and below. 200 FPS, it's a good range. I enjoy it. My issue is that you're too powerful for 150, but not as powerful as some blasters that hit the 250 range. You're in a good little spot, but not at the same time. You know, it's kind of weird. But it's better than hitting only like 175, where you're overpowered for one, way underpowered for another one. This is definitely not HVZ compliant out of the box, I will tell you that much. And this is definitely an outdoor blaster. This is not something that's going to be safe for indoors necessarily, unless you are in a warehouse setting, only because of the fact that the speed that these darts fly out, you are going to knock something over or maybe break something. Not saying it's going to break through glass, but I may have accidentally broken something that I used as a target that was a sealed collector's item on my wall that I was aiming for something next to it, and it just veered off a little bit. Maybe? Whoops. Okay, listen, I collect action figures. Sue me. Anyways. So yeah, be careful when you're using this thing indoors, because you might end up knocking something over. Again, even though I didn't hit 200, the darts do hit quite a velocity, and they will knock something over easily. And next thing you know, it's going to be a big mess. So, is it worth $49.99? Like I said, absolutely. It hits that sweet spot. So, yeah. Thank you, Dart Zone, for another great product. I want to thank you all for watching Secondhand Blasters. We are so close to 400 subscribers, and at that point in time, it's that final stretch to monetization. So if you haven't had a chance to yet, please click like, subscribe, hit that bell notification icon. That way you're notified of new videos. And just remember, per 100 subscribers, I do a giveaway. In fact, for my next giveaway, I might be giving a highly modified flywheel out to one lucky individual, and you get to see just what my modding capabilities are. And generally, when it comes to my flywheels, they're well above 150, hitting around the 180 range, so you got a decent blaster on your hand. I want to thank you all for watching Secondhand Blasters. Until next time, keep on blasting.